The Umbrella Academy, a spectacular superhero comedy drama, has been taking Netflix by storm. It centers around a deeply flawed, yet lovable family and their adventures saving the world. It's currently #1 in the charts across most countries, but unlike many other hit shows, it hasn't been greenlit for a season renewal. Let's talk about everything we know so far. First up, how things were left off. With the third season winding up, the show and its characters find themselves in a place like never before. The Hargreaves family is yet again lost in a whole new world, but this time they've been stripped of their powers. The first 3 seasons have more or less coincided with the 3 volumes of Gerard Way's comics. If there were to be a 4th season, it would have no other volume to follow. This means it'll have to find its own path. Next is what the showrunner has to say about a new season. Steve Blackman, the creator of the show, has hopes for a 4th season. He's shared that he always knew what he thought the first 4 seasons would look like. This means that he already has some ideas of what journey the Umbrellas will embark onto next. One thing he hinted at specifically was how he wanted the characters to explore a life without their powers. Blackman says that he wants fans of the show to find out whether or not the gang would be happier without their powers. He added, "I mean, all they do is complain about being who they are, and complain they do indeed." We're totally stoked to see how the super siblings function without their powers. Now let's talk about if Netflix is ready to renew. The team of the Umbrella Academy seems to be ready to take on a new season. But what about Netflix? Sometimes it's hard to know what Netflix is thinking when deciding on renewing or canceling its originals. It used to let the creators decide how long it would last, but now it seems Netflix cancels more and more shows itself. Given all of the special doomsday effects and superpowers, the Umbrella Academy has always had a large budget, but the show has been doing remarkably well in its viewership, with the first season being played in nearly 45 million households. So that could be good news for us. It would be a shock and a big disappointment to us and many others if it doesn't get renewed. The showrunner himself said that 4 seasons could end the show, leaving the audience satisfied. Hopefully our satisfaction will be a priority to Netflix. Although we heard a rumor that the season is already in active development and it's just a matter of time till it's officially announced. However, it seems Netflix is in the mood to cut costs as of late, so we'll try not to get our hopes up too high. Now on to the potential plot for season 4. If the show is renewed for a 4th season, fingers crossed, let's talk about some of the things we might see unfold. Well, as we discussed before, Blackman has a pretty clear idea of what he wants for season 4, with the conclusion of the 3rd season at somewhat less of a cliffhanger than the earlier 2 seasons. It can be hard to tell what's next in store for our favorite dysfunctional sci-fi family. However, many potential storylines still pop up into our minds. Firstly, about the Father of the Year. It's a well-known fact to fans like us that Sir Reginald Hargreaves, by far, is one of the worst fathers ever. We all know how poorly he treated his adopted children from the first couple of seasons of the show, but now we know how truly selfish he is. We learned by the end of the 3rd season what Reginald's sole reason was for adopting the children, who later formed the Umbrella Academy and the Sparrow Academy. It was simply so he could restart the universe so it would image him and reunite with his dearly beloved, long-deceased wife, Abigail. So it can be said that the next season will certainly show some unpleasant confrontations once the children discover their father well and alive. We aren't sure what the universe reset entails for the Hargreaves children, but judging from experience, let's just assume they're pretty much screwed. As for Father Hargreaves himself, we were reminded in season 3 that he happened to be an alien. Blackman said this was another aspect of the character that'll unravel with the story, along with the origin of the power chosen. We think that'll help us understand more fully how everything came into being in their world, or worlds. We'll be looking forward to many more family meetings and the drama that comes with them. Secondly, the super powerless lives of the heroes. As we all know from the end of the 3rd season, the children had all been stripped of their powers. Yes, this means no more space-time manipulation by number 5, no more rumoring by Allison, and, well, that probably also means mortality again for Claus. Blackman had indicated that the power loss wasn't something that he planned on having fixed so soon. He wants the characters to discover who they are without them. Can they carry on normal lives, or are they too accustomed to trying to save the world? However, the fact that his children are currently powerless means that they're not a threat to old Reggie anymore. Their lives will change drastically without powers, and they'll experience a kind of vulnerability like they never have before. We'll kind of miss seeing Klaus bond over a good old-fashioned game of busball with Dad. Now that the universe has been set to oblivion, does this mean in the new world Reginald is still the children's adoptive dad? If so, does that also mean that their respective mothers aren't dead here? Well, if there's no more bonding with Daddy, at least Klaus can go back up to Pennsylvania and catch up with Mommy. For his sake, we hope she's alive. The powerlessness also raises the question that if some of the siblings actually do end up happier this way, would they have to be convinced into returning to their previous lives? If so, then how? Would it be important for them to all be in this together, or can certain individuals opt out and separate from the gang? We hope they stay united. Always better together. We're forever rooting for Team Umbrellas/Sparrows. Now on to a possibility of a leap through time. It's not crazy to think that the new season will be set a couple of years after where the third season left off. The reason being, Aidan Gallagher, the extremely talented young actor who plays Number 5, is almost 19 years old. And as we know, Number 5's body is supposed to be that of a 15-year-old. Though the actor does a fantastic job playing the part, it's a sad reality that human bodies do age. And by the time we expect the next season to air, Aidan will have done so. Can a nearly 21-year-old really pass off as a 15, maybe 16-year-old kid? It probably depends on how much he ages in the next couple of years or so, but a time skip would definitely do a good job dealing with this potential problem. With a skip through time, the pace of the show could alter, letting us see how the lives of this family have evolved following the huge changes. For one, Diego and Lila would have had their baby. We'd get to see them as parents in their own little family. We're beyond excited to see Diego as a daddy. He was such a good one to Stanley, for the brief time he thought he was, before the kid got Kugelblitzed. Secondly, if Luther and Sloane find their ways back to each other, they can have their honeymoon, and maybe we can find out how good they really are as a couple. We're rooting for them. So what does it mean for the family? The Hargreaves bunch have all been through some wild experiences. Even then, they have a very special bond. A trauma bond, perhaps, but still a bond nonetheless. We are curious to find out whether or not they decide to remain as a family or just go their separate ways. Without powers, what else could they need from each other? If they decide to separate, it'll hurt the members who want to fight together to bring their powers back. Whatever happens, and whatever they decide to do, we sure hope they're happy and get what they want from this life. After all they've been through, they deserve it. Lastly, let's talk production. If history repeats itself and the season is renewed, it's expected to go into production by the end of the year. Filming should be complete by next summer. Our fingers and toes are all crossed. As for the cast, all the members of the Umbrella Academy are expected to return for season 4, along with Ben and Sloane. However, it isn't clear if the Dead Sparrows will be revived. We just don't know much about Reggie's new universe yet. We're certain that they'll do a great job with this season, and we can't wait. That's a wrap for this video. What do you hope for in this new season? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.